Hello, welcome to the teachings for this week. Last week I talked a little bit about this beautiful poem by David Whyte, The Bell and the Blackbird, and this teaching is based on that poem. As David reads the book, before he reads the poem, he actually tells a story that has to do with why he wrote the poem, and the story is quite lovely. It's a story of an old Irish church and an Irish priest or monk, and he is awoken by the sound of the church bell, the bell, which to him is the sound of prayer. It's calling him to prayer. And the Irish monk says, this is the most lovely sound in the world. And at the same time, out his window, he can hear a blackbird in the field calling. And he says, this is the most lovely sound in the world. And the poem is about his decision whether to go to prayer or to go out into the field. And typical Irish, old Irish Gaelic story, they don't tell you how it ends, like which direction he goes, but it's this beautiful universal story about, for each of us, how we're designed to both live in the world fully and also how much we need our internal time, our prayer time, our sacred time, our time within ourselves where we quiet our minds and stop doing and fixing and being and just be silent, or in prayer or in meditation. So when I was preparing the teaching, I wanted to put more language or vocabulary in your minds, which is one of the most powerful things I think that we can do when we choose a practice and choose to learn from our practice. And the word I want to put in your mind is the bell. And when we talk about the bell here at the Shala, I want the bell to represent your practice. And that for all of us, that it actually calls us. We wake up in the morning and there's this calling to show up on our mats and to nurture ourselves, to feed ourselves with that silence, to feed ourselves with the sound of breath, and to feed ourselves with a practice that is svadhyaya, self-study, self-inquiry, self-care. It's our own medicine for our soul. And at the same time, there's this call to life as well. The blackbird reminds me of being chased by the tiger, chasing the tiger, falling in love, breaking your heart, having adventures, trying something, failing, and getting up and trying again. All that life has to offer us. And for me, I feel like our lives are so full and so busy that sometimes we're living more in our external world, which we're calling our blackbird. We're living in that world so much that I feel like sometimes we neglect in our busy lives that need for the bell and that need for that prayer time. And so I love that we have our Ashtanga, our yoga practice that calls us on a regular basis, on a daily or weekly basis, to come and be quiet and spend this time in prayer, spend this time in devotion, spend this time in discipline. And for me, my hope for my own personal practice and also for all of you that practice is that our time with the bell helps us be more present when we're out there with the blackbird. It was kind of funny on Sunday when I did this teaching. I had gotten to this point where I was talking about the practice and how it's sacred and our medicine and how much it fills our soul and our being. And right about this time I was getting kind of choked up a little bit about it. Someone's phone went off. And it was an obnoxious phone too. It was just like, blue, 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 it was making all this noise. And everyone burst into laughter and a few people said, Blackbird. And it was just fun to think of it that way as well. Like even sometimes we're in our sacred place or whatever, there's that literally that call, but that call to our other life. And just again, how important I feel that it is for all of us to make time for our bell and to use our practice as not another place where we're hard on ourselves or judgmental or critical or trying to fix or figure anything out, but that our practice is a sacred place, our sacred time for ourselves to nurture ourselves. So now I get to read you the poem. Not quite as beautiful as David would read it, but I always like to have you close your eyes. Poetry, like art, is to be unveiled and for you to let it sink in. The bell and the blackbird. The sound of a bell still reverberating, or a blackbird calling from a corner of the field, asking you to wake into this life or inviting you deeper into the one that waits. Either way takes courage. Either way wants you to be nothing but that self that is no self at all. Wants you to walk to the place where you find you already know how to give every last thing away. The approach is also the meeting itself without any meeting at all. That radiance you have always carried with you as you walk both alone and completely accompanied in friendship by every corner of the world crying, hallelujah. So this week I just wanted to offer a little homework to all of you to continue to pay attention to the weather of your thinking, the weather of your feeling, what we consume. Last week was on food, our peaches and Doritos, and this week to think of drawing yourself towards what we need from that busy life, to our yoga mats, to prayer, to meditation, to that time that we need to just fully embrace and take care of ourselves. As always, I honor each one of you for taking today's teachings out of your yoga room and into your lives.